Buddha's teachings, the life of women. There are four types of women. Of the first type, there are those who become angry for slight causes, who have changeable minds, who are greedy and jealous of others' happiness, and who have no sympathy for the needs of others. Of the second type, there are those who grow angry over trifling affairs, who are fickle and greedy, but who do not feel envious of others' happiness and who are sympathetic for the needs of others. Of the third type, there are those who are more broad minded and do not become angry very often, who do not know how to control a greedy mind but are not able to avoid feelings of jealousy, and who are not sympathetic for the needs of others. Of the third type, there are those who are broad minded, who can restrain feelings of greed and restrain calmness of mind, who do not feel envious of others' happiness, and who are sympathetic for the needs of others. When a young woman marries, she should make the following resolutions: I must honor and serve the parents of my husband. They have given us all the advantages we have and are our wise protectors, so I must serve them with appreciation and be ready to help them whenever I can. I must be respectful to my husband's teacher because he has given my husband a sacred teaching, and we could not live as human beings without the guidance of these sacred teachings. I must cultivate my mind so that I will be able to understand my husband and be able to help him in his work. I must never be indifferent to his interests, thinking they are only his affairs but not mine. I must study the nature, ability, and taste of each of the servants of our family and look after them kindly. I will conserve the income of my husband and will not waste it for any selfish purpose. The relation of husband and wife was not designed merely for their convenience, it has a deeper significance than the mere association of two physical bodies in one house. Husband and wife should take advantage of the intimacies of their association to help each other in training their minds in the holy teaching. An old couple, an idle couple as they were called, once came to Buddha and said, Lord, we were married after we had been acquainted in childhood, and there has never been a cloud in our happiness. Please tell us if we can be remarried in the next life. The Buddha gave them this wise answer: if you both have exactly the same faith, if you both receive the teaching in exactly the same way, if you perform charity in the same way, if you have the same wisdom, then you will have the same mind in the next birth. Sujata, the young wife of the eldest son of the rich merchant Ananta Pindala, was arrogant, did not respect others, and did not listen to the instruction of her husband and his parents, and consequently, some discord arose in the family. One day, the Blessed One came to visit Anant Pindala and noticed this state of affairs. He called the young wife Sujata to him and spoke to her kindly, saying, Sujata, there are 7 types of wives. There is a wife who is like a murderer. She has an impure mind, doesn't honor her husband, and consequently turns her heart to another man. There is a wife who is like a thief. She never understands her husband's labor but thinks only of her desire for luxury. She wastes her husband's income to satisfy her own appetite, and by doing so steals from him. There is a wife who is like a master. She rails at her husband, neglects the housekeeping, and always scolds him and rough words. There is a wife who is like a mother. She cares for her husband as though he were a child, protects him as a mother does her son, and takes good care of his income. There is a wife who is like a sister. She is faithful to her husband and serves him like a sister with modesty and reserve. There is a wife who is like a friend. She tries to please her husband as if he were a friend who had just returned from a long absence. She is modest, behaves correctly, and treats him with great respect. Lastly, there is a wife who is like a maid servant. She serves her husband well and with fidelity. She respects him, obeys his command, has no wishes of her own, no ill feeling, no resentment, and always tries to make him happy. The Blessed One asked Sujata, which type of wife are you like, or would you wish to be like? Hearing these words of the Blessed One, she was ashamed of her past conduct and replied that she would wish to be like the one in the last example, the maid servant. She changed her behavior and became her husband's helper, and together they sought enlightenment. Amrapali was a wealthy and famous courtesan of Vaishali and kept many young and beautiful prostitutes with her. She called upon the Blessed One and asked him to give her some good teaching. The Blessed One said, Amrapali, the mind of a woman is easily disturbed and misled. She yields to her desires and surrenders to jealousy more easily than a man. Therefore, it is more difficult for a woman to follow the noble path. This is especially true for a young and beautiful woman. You must step forth toward the noble path by overcoming lust and temptation. Amrapali, you must remember that youth and beauty do not last but are followed by sickness, old age, and suffering. Desires for wealth and love are women's besetting temptations. But Amrapali, they are not the eternal treasures. Enlightenment is the only treasure that maintains its value. Strength is followed by illness. Youth must yield to old age. Life gives way to death. One may have to go away from a loved one to live with a hated one. One may not obtain what one wishes for very long. This is the law of life. The only thing that protects and brings one to lasting peace is enlightenment. Amrapali, you should seek enlightenment at once. She listened to him, became his disciple, and as an offering donated to the Brotherhood her beautiful garden park. There are no distinctions of sex on the path to enlightenment. If a woman makes up her mind to seek enlightenment, she will become a heroine of the true path. Mallika, the daughter of King Prasenjit and the queen of King Ayodhya, was such a heroine. She had great faith in the teachings of the Blessed One and made in his presence the 10 following vows. My Lord, until I gain enlightenment, I will not violate the sacred precepts. I will not be arrogant before people who are older than myself. I will not become angry with anyone. I will not be jealous of others or envy their possessions. I will not be selfish either in mind or property. I will try to make poor people happy with the things I receive and will not hoard them for myself. I will receive all people courteously, give them what they need, and speak kindly to them. Consider their circumstances and not my convenience, and try to benefit them without partiality. If I see others in solitude, in prison, or suffering from disease or other troubles, I will try to relieve them and make them happy by explaining the reason and loss to him. If I see others catching living animals and being cruel to them or violating any such precepts, I will punish them. If they are to be punished, or teach them if they are to be taught, and then I will try to undo what they have done and correct their mistakes to the best of my ability. I will not forget to hear the right teaching, for I know that when one neglects the right teaching, one quickly falls away from the truth that abides everywhere and will fail to reach the shore of enlightenment. Then she made the following three wishes to save poor people. First, I will try to make everyone peaceful. This wish I believe in whatever life I may hereafter receive will be the root of goodness that will grow into the wisdom of good teaching. Second, after I have received the wisdom of good teaching, I will untiringly teach all people. Third, I will protect the true teaching even at the sacrifice of my own body, life, or property. The true significance of family life is the opportunity it gives for mutual encouragement and aid on the path to enlightenment. Even an ordinary woman, if she has the same mind to seek enlightenment and make the same vows and wishes, may become as great a disciple of Buddha as Mallika was. Hari Om Tat Sat.